Hey guys, the learning outcome I'm going to be talking about is outline the social identity theory. So the social identity theory is founded on the idea that our self-concept is based on a variety of social cells, each of which is part of a certain social group. And social groups are basically just cliques of people who share one or more characteristics that unite them. Race and gender, for instance, are key examples of social characteristics. Alright, so the reason that we actually subscribe to these categories is because as humans, we seek to find unity and belonging with others, and membership to various social groups helps improve our self-esteem. And social categorization is actually an important process in this theory, and it basically just refers to the currents in which we see ourselves and others similar to us as an in-group, and those who do not belong as part of an out-group. It's hypothesized that we unconsciously compare ourselves to other people around us just to see how like we are, which in turn affects how we behave towards them. So once we're part of an in-group, we tend to observe the behavior of those around us to try and develop social norms. And individuals who are part of those in-groups tend to adhere to the social norms in fear of rejection or stigma if otherwise. And they begin to adopt similar views, beliefs, and customs. So once individual groups start to become more distinct, social comparison begins to play a role. A common pattern found is that people tend to prefer those that are part of their in-group and tend to view them more positively, even when there's evidence that suggests that they shouldn't. They also tend to see out-groups in a less favorable manner and just generally hold them in a lower regard, and sometimes even blame situational factors for their successes, yet failures as dispositional factors. And then lastly, positive distinctiveness is the reason that people of an in-group tend to just sort of set themselves apart from out-group members and sort of just ostracize them in a competitive manner. And this is an attempt to sort of boost their own positive image, as in make themselves look better than the other groups. And this isolation from other groups and asserted superiority can lead to prejudice, negative stereotypes, and discrimination. The study that I will be using is called Tajfel et al. In this study, the researchers basically aim to see whether simply grouping people alone creates enough prejudice/favoritism towards in-group members, despite there being no previous history of negative ties between the participants. 64 boys from Bristol, UK were recorded for this study, and there were a total of 2 studies that were conducted actually. And in the first study, the boys were split into groups based on whether they underestimated or overestimated the number of dots in a visual judgment task. However, groups were actually randomly assigned and not based on the boys' estimations. Afterwards, they were told they had to award and punish others via a matrix that had a number of points, and they could choose whether to award more points to their in-group or more points to their out-group. So now we will reenact the study and show you guys sort of what it looked like.
All right, good morning, class. Here are dots. Tell me how many dots there are on your paper, and be very accurate. Don't count them, just estimate them.
-5.
Let me see. All right, results. Sobi, you are an underestimator. Nayla, you are also an underestimator. Camila, you are an overestimator. Andrea, you are also an overestimator. All right, now that I've assigned you guys into your groups, I need you to fill out the matrices, and you are going to need to assign points to either members of your group or members of the other group. So go ahead and begin. Okay, now class, we are going to judge some artwork. You see 2 paintings right here. So if you like the crusty Rapunzel better, I want for you to raise your hand. Krusty Barney better? I would like for you to raise your hand. Oh, very enthusiastic Sophie, and Camila also like the Krusty Barney. Okay. All right, time to fill out the matrices again. Time to allocate points to either your in-group or your out-group.
The Rapunzel art is good, but... Barney must win!
So, as you guys can see from the video, when they were filling out the matrices, the boys tended to sort of give their own in-group more points and their out-group less points, which kind of shows, it directly shows favoritism towards the in-group, despite the fact that there was no previous history or any sort of relationship between the boys before they were recruited for the study.